Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. This morning, I get to bring back somebody I had on Morning Moments before. I've now, at the time of this recording, I've had like 500 interviews. Well, this guest was number 69. So she first interviewed April of 29 of 2021. And it's my privilege to bring back this actress. She's a producer, a writer, and she just loves the Lord. Meggie Jenny, welcome to Morning Moments again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
It's great to get caught up. I'm going to ask people to go and look at that interview that we had, the first one, and watch it and see what God has done for you then and what He's doing for you now. So let me ask the question I ask returning guests: what are you doing now, and why are you doing it?
Right now, and by that I mean literally right now, as of this interview, I am packing my bags and I'm getting the heck out of Dodge. I am working on a movie that I wrote and am producing and am starring in Tennessee, and it's a Christmas movie, which I adore Christmas movies. So I am just blessed beyond measure and like absolutely should not be able to do this job. Like, thank you, Jesus. I get to do what I love and I get to just make incredible movies and work with phenomenal people. And like, God is just so good. He is so, so good.
We don't deserve any of His grace, do we?
No. We are terrible. People are the worst. That's why we need Jesus. So this movie, it's called Christmas at Keystone Resort. And so we are actually filming this all on location, in one location at Keystone Resort in Loretto, Tennessee. And it is just absolutely stunning. A gorgeous facility, phenomenal resort, and the staff are just absolutely incredible. Highly recommend you guys check it out. But that to the side. No, it's amazing. So we were presented the opportunity to do this movie, and we had originally had a writer hired and it wasn't working out. Just the tone that we needed for the movie just wasn't lining out. And me and the director were talking, because I was already producing this movie. And we were talking, and I was like, how about I just take a stab at it? And so I wrote up like 3 pages or something like that. And I'm like, do you like this? He's like, yeah, do you have time to write it? Write it. So like 3 days later, I had a script. That's bonkers. And then just like, I'm talking, this was in October. So like end of October, it is now middle of January, and we roll cameras January 16th, we start rolling cameras. Like, it happened so fast, and like only God could do that. And here's the deal. I know there are so many people who have so many incredible stories that they have written or they want to tell. And like, they are just working so hard, man. And I'm going to get the question, how did you do that? How can you make this movie? How did this happen so fast? And I'm telling you right now, it has nothing to do with me. I did nothing. God was just like, this is what you're going to do. And he put all of the pieces together, and we just get to sit back. I mean, we work hard, let's be real, we work hard, but we get to sit back and we get to watch God do what he does, because honestly, the only thing he asks of us is not ability, it's just straight up availability. And just being willing to do what he calls you to do, and stepping out of your own way and kicking butt.
Yeah. And, I like what you said, getting out of God's way. Because I often say, when surrender is your reasonable service, you can expect great things from God. So if today I get up and say, today my job is to surrender,
which is hard, right? Because
yes,
you're like, no, I'm not doing that today. I've got stuff I want to. In fact, I have a wish list. If you could just top my list here, yeah, like God doesn't work like that. He's like, oh, that's cute. No, and my list is better than your list. So just sit down. Calm down.
The Lord's been speaking to our hearts quite a bit lately about prayer, and how it's that transformative power that prayer does in a life that's built with prayer. Yeah. And what happens when you pray first, and what a big difference when you start looking at prayer and surrender in the light of just daily. I pray. Not only do I pray daily, I pray without ceasing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's one of those things too, where hindsight's always 2020, right? So we're in the midst of it, whether you're in a great season or a really hard season, you're in the midst of it. And you're like, you couldn't possibly forecast the future. You can't possibly be like, yeah, this is going to happen. And this is because there's just no way. There's no way. And yet all of the plans that we make and all of these, oh, I've totally got it. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And then God's like, you don't know. You don't even know. And I love that, the plans that God has for you, at least they are in my life. Like I never in 1,000 years could have predicted it. Never in 1,000 years. And there are some things that I wish had gone differently, but looking back, you're just like, man, I couldn't have made this up if I tried, and it's so much better. It's so much, even with all of the hard and the yuck and the whole, some days you just kind of want to cry a little bit and eat in the cover of darkness and not get out of bed. But all of those days led you to where God has you now. And he's going to do incredible things. You just have to give him the crappy days.
Yeah.
And not go into the dark hole of despair.
Which is not easy to do. I mean, there's a lot of things in the way, and life happens to a lot of us. And we have ups and downs and losses and things that happen. But he's with us in the good times and the bad times. He's there.
Yeah. Well, it's really easy when you're in the good times to get, smooth sailing and you're just like, things are great. It's in those bad times. It's in those times where you are grieving, whatever it may be, a future that you thought you would have, or, just a loss of things or whatever it may be. But it's in those moments where you truly you have to find your hope in the Lord, because there is no hope other than that. You're like, my life is in shambles right now. I lost the job, or this isn't going well, or whatever it may be. And it's when you're in those moments where there is no logical hope, but you're like, I don't know what you're doing, God, but I trust you in the process. Like those are the moments where it's just like, you might still, shame eat chocolate in your closet at night, but but eventually you'll put back on real pants and God will get you through it.
I often think that God doesn't start his day looking down at our life and going, man, I didn't see that thing coming at all.
Oh gosh. Isn't that amazing? I love that. I love that God's already gone before it and nothing surprises him. Yeah. He's just like, yeah, I knew. Yeah. Don't worry. I got you. Don't worry about it. Like, okay.
I had somebody share with me one time, our walk with life is like a veil. And we're walking towards this veil where sometimes we could see 5 feet in front of us. Sometimes we could see 20 feet, sometimes 50 feet. And sometimes the veil's right here and we can't even see the next step. But if we know who's on the other side of the veil, just keep walking in that direction. And because the person on the other side of the unseen is in control.
Yeah. Got to get out of the boat. Keep your eyes on Jesus and don't look at the waves. It might get stormy, but who cares? Right. I mean, that's one of my favorite things about Peter is, he gets a lot of slack for the fact that he took his eyes off Jesus and then started, to sink a bit, but he was the only one bold enough to get out of the boat.
Yes.
Everyone else is in the boat. Get out of the boat. You might stumble, you might mess up, but have the boldness to go, I trust you, God. I'm getting out of this boat and I'm going to go where you tell me to go. Man, like how incredible. What an act of faith, like risking it.
I have yet to make my worst mistake.
That's both comforting and terrifying.
Yes. But you don't make mistakes unless you try and get out there. And it's okay, because once you do, then God can bring us back in control, be in control. You cannot steer a ship that's in the harbor. Yeah, the rudder doesn't work when it's not moving. Nope. And so we just say, okay, I'm gonna take that step of faith, like Peter, take that step of faith, and I know that you're in control. Sometimes when fear grips us, I find that when fear grips me, it's usually a direct correlation to my lack of trust in God. And so, God, I give my fear to you and I trust in you.
Yeah. Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous? Man, I tell you what, that's easier said than done. And that's just a fact of life. The The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. We are not real great at that sometimes.
Yeah.
But what I love about it is God knows us. He knows. And he's like, yeah, I know you're totally going to screw this up. But I'm going to be here when you do. Kind of like your little kid. You're like, can you tie your shoes? And like, sure. And they're just struggling. We're going to be late. Can I tie your shoes? No, I've got it. And God's just like, let me tie your shoes so that I can get you where we need you to go.
Yep. Yeah, there's something about raising kids that puts things in balance for us.
Very much so. You're like, oh gosh, this is so frustrating. And then you're like, this is God with me. He's like, stop it.
Absolutely. Well, Meggie, it's good to hear that where you're at now. And I want to thank you for coming and giving us a heads up of what's going on. I'm going to put down her IMDb down below, so you could see the things she's been in, running the bases, and all the different things that she's been in, and also the things that's in post production and things that she's filming right now. You're going to see those in the future. So as we continue to follow her and continue to look at that past interview, as you look at this one and pass this one on, keep in mind that God's got a plan for her life, but he's got a plan for your life as well. And if we just surrender and say, God, I'm not an actress, but I do this. And he says, that's okay. Just be you. And God will open the doors and keep you right where you need to be if you surrender. So as we close today, I want you to take some time and pray for Meggie. She's getting ready to, if you're watching this right, she's probably right in the film that time you're watching this, or even afterwards, post-production. She's going to need a lot of prayer, folks. She needs your prayers and you need to practice. So pray that God would bless her and use her in a great and mighty way. Thank you for joining us again for Morning Moments.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. You're welcome back anytime. And thank you for being with us, and keep coming back, and may God richly bless you all.